All righty. Oh, Carol looks so official.
Oh, he's a great.
Lopez is working to join us. So I would like to call to order this meeting, Tuesday, May 31st meeting of the Monmouth City Council. If Phyllis is ready to record us.
This conference will now be recorded.
That doesn't sound like Phyllis at all.
Thank you, ma'am. As a reminder, we are wearing masks here in the building as a courtesy to those of us and our family members who might still be vulnerable, and seeing as how numbers are continuing to rise. And I think many of us now know somebody who has had a positive COVID test in the last week. We are going to continue this courtesy. I will ask Phyllis, who is in another room, to call us a roll, please, for the council. Start with
Councilor Belt.
Here.
Councilor Carey.
Here.
Councilor Lopez.
Here.
Councilor McKeel.
Oh, she froze.
Councilor Oberst.
Here.
Councilor Salinas Oliveros.
Here.
Mayor Kuntz.
I am present, and we will start with the flag salute this evening. And Councilor Lopez, would you please just
Please stay. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
not? Tonight, we only have sort of one area of business, and so we will be dispensing with many of our usual agenda items, be able to adopt, hopefully, the budget for the 22-23 fiscal year. We will then adjourn and become the Urban Renewal Agent Board, and they will conduct the same work. So we do, however, have a consent calendar, which consists of the minutes of the meeting of May 17th. And hopefully had a chance to look at those.
Move approval.
Thank you, Councilor Oberst.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Lopez. Moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, Councilor McKeel can wave us down if she has. Okay. All right, thank you.
I've got it working again. Sorry, I had to reset it. I'm good.
That's okay. Good to hear you. At this moment, well, we're not going to have public comment on anything other than the budget. So at this point, I would like to convene the public hearing to consider adoption of the revenue sharing resolution for the city of Monmouth. And that resolution is number 1941, resolving that the city of Monmouth, pursuant to ORS 221-770, elects to receive state revenue for fiscal 22-23. So I will open the public hearing. We have no one in the room to provide public testimony. City Recorder Bowman, anybody who has sent in comments or is online?
Mayor Kuntz, I have received no comments.
All right. And at this time then, I will take any questions or comments by counselors about this resolution.
Madam Mayor, to
Yes.
frame the discussion, I would like to to propose a motion. I move to adopt Resolution 1941, declaring the city's election to receive state revenues in fiscal year 23.
Second.
Thank you very much for the motion, Counselor Lopez, and the second.
Still in the hearing?
We,
We need to close the
well,
hearing?
we should close the hearing.
Oh,
But I will close the hearing and accept
Echo.
the motion and the second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
aye.
Oh, sorry, it's a resolution. I'm sorry, Phyllis. We have
Yeah,
to do a roll
roll
call.
Trying to take my job away. Where's my camera? There it is. Counselor Oberst,
Yes.
Counselor Carey,
Aye.
Counselor Salinas Oliveros,
Aye.
Counselor Belts,
Aye.
Counselor McKeel,
Yes.
Counselor Lopez.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, Phyllis. We will adopt resolution number 1941. And that takes us to another public hearing. This will be on resolution number 1942, adopting the fiscal 23 budget and capital improvement plan. And I believe that we also need to set our tax, levy our property taxes with this one. So I will open a public hearing on the matter of this budget, our capital improvement plan, and levying our property tax rates so we can operate July 1 of 2023. And there's no one in the room to give public testimony. Phyllis, is there anyone who has submitted testimony on the budget or is online?
I have received no comments and there's no one online.
All right. I will close the public hearing. Yes, Counselor Oberst.
I would move to adopt Resolution 1940, adopting the budget, making appropriations, levying ad valorem taxes, and adopting the capital improvement plan for the 2022-2023 fiscal year.
I'll second.
Well, we got Counselor Salinas Oliveros ahead of you, so thank you, Counselor Oberst and Counselor Salinas Oliveros. Are there any questions or comments on this? Counselor Carey.
I'm just going to make a slightly redundant observation and ask counselors to be conscious of the fact that when we get down to and this includes the stormwater and some of the capital improvement things there, those are in part drivers for the rate increases that we'll be dealing with at a later time. Another chunk of that reason for the rate increase is the maintenance of a 25% fund balance. And we'll have an opportunity, not tonight, but in the future, to revisit that. We'd revisited a year ago. We left it where it was. It still seems to be a bit artificially high. And so I will have that, but that's embedded in this budget. And I just wanted to make my understandably futile concern and observation. Other than that, no more.
Thank you. I understand that concern and definitely an option for us to review that. As we move forward, I think we'll say another reason for the rate increases is in fact the inflation.
Sure.
Opportunity to kind of keep up a little bit so we don't find ourselves cutting things later in the year. And I'm just going to double check the motion that you made, Counselor Oberst. Can you tell me what resolution number you Resolved.
I resolved, oh, you're gonna make me go all the way back up. Hold on.
Yeah.
I said 1940 because that's what's in my proposal.
Correct. And so I'm gonna,
42,
before we continue, I'm gonna ask if you don't mind.
42. I would like to move two resolutions forward in time.
Would you like to amend your motion?
Amend my
Counselor?
motion to suggest that in fact we adopt resolution 1942, which adopts the budget, makes appropriations, levies ad valorem taxes, and adopts the capital improvement plan for 2022, 2023 fiscal year.
Thank you. And do you amend, you amenable to that on your second, Counselor Salinas Oliveros?
Yes, I amend it.
Thank you very much.
I apologize for my oversight in not looking at the
I
actual
apologize for
resolution.
my oversight. And
I
the
just-
proofreaders also apologize for that.
I apologize for not listening and making you change it after you spoke, because I was,
The next one's 1943.
thank you. Any other comments or questions from council? All right, seeing none, Phyllis, the roll call on resolution number 1942, please.
Counselor Salinas Oliveros,
Aye.
Counselor Belts,
Aye.
Counselor Lopez,
Aye.
Counselor Oberst,
Yes.
Counselor McKeel,
Yes.
Counselor Carey.
Aye.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. We passed resolution 1942, adopting the budget, making appropriations, levying ad valorem taxes, and adopting the capital improvement plan for the 2022-23 fiscal year. All right, thank you very much. And that does take us to the aforementioned resolutions regarding rates. And I will let Janet remind us about these.
Yes, so we are going to have 3 rate resolutions coming before you tonight. I have a staff report for each, and I believe that we did catch the resolution numbers. Apologies, because they were a moving target to get them in the right order. But the next 3 are 1943, 1944, and 1945. The 1943, and I hope it's okay for me to cover them en masse, but the 1943 resolution is for electric rates. And as we discussed during Budget Committee, we are looking at this point, our financial plan as the mechanism to direct us in our rate increases for the Power and Light Fund. And that is based on capital projects, as Councilor Carey mentioned, going forward, as well as operational needs. We do need, as a best practice, to reserve at least the common practice is 3 months payroll. And so that adds up to a certain amount as well. Our materials and supplies, of course, are subject to inflation, as well as our personnel costs being subject to inflation. So all of that goes into arriving at a fiscal policy reserve level for, especially for the utility funds. It does seem a little high at times. However, it is, again, something that allows us to plan for the future. And in order to attain that 25%, yes, it's true, 4% is one of the driving factors that will keep us at 25% for at least the next 2 or so years. And then we hope that with savings that are always achieved by our very hardworking staff and with hopefully conservative estimates of revenues, that we will be able to achieve without undue rate increases. But regular and consistent rate increases are also favorable over 10% increase every so often. That really does shock folks. And so that's kind of the thought process behind it. And with the electric proposed electric increase, it will result in approximately a monthly addition of $3.36 increase per month. And that's, of course, very dependent on the size of the home and of the usage, because some folks are better at conservation and some folks need more heat. So there is, and in the summer need more cooling. So if you have further questions on the rate increase, I believe Chuck Thurman is online. But I can answer any questions about that. Otherwise, I would move on to the other 2 rate increases in the public works.
Okay, not seeing any questions about electric.
It should be noted that we've rolled, at least twice, we've rolled those back when the financials merited it. So it is a live and active fund, and it's well managed. So this increase can be easily defended, in my opinion.
And I would note that, well, it is a 4% increase compared to most of everything else around us. That's a bargain. And we have had years in the past with a 0% increase and even a couple of rollbacks. Those are starting to be in the rearview mirror a pretty good distance now, but they still are out there. And, you know, we're kind of at the mercy of a market. We hear about the cost of a transformer going up 8 and 10 times what it was 2 years ago. When one of those goes, we've got no choice but to replace. And then the final comment I would make, when I first became, you know, kind of involved in some of this city stuff 28 plus years ago now, there was a belief that we had to maintain an electric fund reserve capable of completely rebuilding the system from the ground up, as if the entire system burned to the ground. And that was a heck of a lot higher than 25% now. So, you know, having all those little pieces, I'm comfortable as well, John, 4%.
We'll move on and
Okay.
let Janet describe each of these before we take a vote.
And I will say that there is a hope and a plan to schedule a formal rate increase study, or rate study, I should say, not rate increase study, a rate study for the Power and Light Fund this coming year. And so as long as we can get our new superintendent on board and get that rolling, we will hopefully be able to accomplish that. And that will give us a much better idea of where we land. There's just a lot of unpredictable factors, I will say, with Power and Light because of BTA. That also adds to it. And so I do think 25% is fairly reasonable, and it's a balance, of course, always between, you know, having enough for a rainy day fund and not holding on to too much for your ratepayers' concerns, because they want services, right? So. And then for water rates, we are relying on a rate study that was conducted in fiscal 21 by an outside consultant who projected into the future what would be needed, again, based on some very expensive water projects coming down the tunnel. That plus, of course, the staffing, the technology that is becoming more and more needed to serve the water fund is causing a very real need to raise rates at about 5 to 5.5% for the next several years. The good news is that for around 1,000 square foot house, that should only be another $1.47 a month, and for even a 3,000 square foot home, and again, depending on irrigation, depending on usage of water, and we do also push conservation and give conservation techniques and ideas. So $263 per month is what we're estimating a 3,000 square foot home, what their monthly bill would increase by. And so that's what I would offer on water fund. I did also note, of course, that we're repaying the sewer fund alone because of some years when we didn't do rate increases again here. And that is always an option to try and do that borrowing to try and soften the impact, but it does create issues in other funds. So we have to be cognizant that it's not always the best.
Thank you. Questions or comments, Councillor McKeel on water rates?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Actually, looking at kind of, I guess, jumping a little ahead, but looking at all these funds and the increase that this is going to cause, it'll be just under $10 a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for some families, I think that is going to be a problem. So I would just also like to point out how our city staff is very good at helping folks who come in and are having trouble meeting their utility bill charges, that there is a fund available for them when they can't pay that. And our city staff is very good at directing our families to that fund.
Yes, thank you for that comment. Very true.
Indeed. Okay, and so, oh, I'm sorry, was that?
Now, any other questions or comments on water? Okay.
Okay. As for the stormwater fund, as many of you know, there was a very extensive consulting study done in order to bring the utility to fruition in the recent year. And with that, it was determined that we would go with, there were 3 levels of service, basic, I can't even remember, there was sort of the moderate level, which would cause some additional proactive ability to serve, and Russ Cooper is on to
Yeah.
correct me if needed. And then, of course, there would have been the gold standard, which would allow us to do far more than we're currently doing and maybe be ahead of technology and that sort of thing. And council opted for the basic service level, which we are managing, and that helps us at least maintain service levels that we've provided in the past, but also have a much more stable source of funds for the capital construction work that is coming down the tunnel here as well. And there are some big capital projects coming. And so we are proposing to increase by approximately, the total increase would be about $1.19 per month for this, which it looks like a scary number because it is a 10% increase over 1188. But it's a flat fee, so it's not, there's no usage implications for residential customers, of course. For larger customers or business customers that have much more impervious surface, then their rates will go up by the 10% relative to their whatever their equivalent service unit measurement is. And unless that has changed, it should be an easily calculated number for them as well. And so I think that is what I would have to say about stormwater. If anyone has questions for either Russ or me, that would be welcome.
Councilor Carey.
I would remind council once again, and it's you already know this, but I had forgotten it, that when we first initiated the stormwater, that was to replace and pull funds away from the street fund to allow for transportation projects and have that process done. It didn't really account for the projects that were going to be necessary to improve that. And that was a learning. When I saw that, I was, asked the stupid question, and Russ straightened me out. But I just remind everyone that this is how we improved the system. That was not our initial. We went with the basic, just pull it out of street, and now street's got money to do other things. This
Pull
is
the
a chance.
expenses out of the
Yeah,
street
pull the
fund, not
expenses.
pull
out.
revenue. out.
Sure, I'm sorry. And the accountant over here to my right has got it. But this is how we improve the system. So it's been a transformation for me. Russ educated me, and if that's helpful, then pass that on.
Councilor Oberst.
As I recall, we have a real need for an increased size piece of pipe to the west of campus. Folks at the bottom of Cupid's Knoll get flooded by the sheet of water coming off that hill on a regular basis. And this increase, as I recall, and Russ could correct me if I'm missing the point on this, but was somewhat targeted to that particular project. That's why we're having a 10% increase, because we have one large project staring us in the face that needs to get done 5 years ago. And so this finally addresses that.
So this does allow us to maintain a 25% reserve, which helps address
Right.
over 5 years the capital projects that are coming due. Will it be enough? It depends again on the on what we're able to do with our personnel as well in that fund. So we are, we may need to, as Councilor Carey pointed out and Director Cooper pointed out, there may be some additional needs for slightly higher rate increases going forward. This is a higher rate increase than was originally envisioned for a basic service level, which is why, yes, it does hopefully cover our currently estimated construction costs, which are kind of still an estimate.
So in other words, that Counselor Oberst, don't, our friends on Cupid's Knoll can't be expecting this repair anytime soon. We're starting to put a little more weight for it, I think. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, that completes Director Chenard's part of this. So at this point in time, I would like to take each of these individually, starting with a resolution number 1943 regarding the electric rates, and we'll entertain a motion.
I move to adopt Resolution 1943, establishing new electric rates and repealing Resolution 1920.
Thank you, and Councillor McKeel.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Lopez and Councillor McKeel. Any questions or comments on the motion? Roll call, please, Phyllis.
Counselor McKeel.
Here, yes. And I'm
Counselor
here
Bel-
too.
Good. Counselor Belts.
Aye.
Counselor Carey.
Aye.
Counselor Oberst.
Yes.
Counselor Lopez.
Aye.
Counselor Salinas Oliveros.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, everybody. And that moves us to the water rate. Say that 3 times fast. The water rate resolution at number 1944. So Councillor Salinas Oliveros.
I move adoption of Resolution 1944, establishing new water service rates and repealing Resolution 1921.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Seconder. So Councillor Salinas Oliveros and Councillor McKeel. Does that spark any questions or comments? I'm seeing none. Phyllis, we'll talk about number 1944.
Counselor Lopez.
Aye.
Counselor Carey.
Aye.
Counselor Salinas Oliveros.
Aye.
Counselor Belts.
Aye.
Counselor McKeel.
Yes.
Counselor Oberst.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Wonderful. And now the stormwater utility. And that is our last one of these.
I would move adoption of Resolution 1945, establishing the stormwater utility fee service charge and repealing Resolution 1910.
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank you, Councillor McKeel. Councillor Oberst for the motion, Councillor McKeel for the second. Seeing no questions or comments, Phyllis, roll call, please.
Counselor Belts.
Aye.
Counselor Carey.
Aye.
Counselor Lopez.
Aye.
Counselor Oberst.
Aye.
Counselor Salinas Oliveros.
Aye.
Counselor McKeel.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you very much. Again, this evening, we do have another meeting next week. So I'm going to put council comments or any further reports on hold until that time. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn the council meeting.
I would move to adjourn the council meeting to the Urban Renewal Board meeting.
Well, you don't have to do that. You just adjourn this one. So all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I don't see any opposed. So we are adjourned. And hopefully we can move forward without a break. If you would all vacate your seats and give up to the Urban Renewal Agency Board.
Board members.
Then I will call to order the Tuesday, May 31st meeting of the Urban Renewal Agency and ask for a roll call, please. Phyllis.
Ms. Belts.
Here.
Mr. Carey.
Here.
Mr. Lopez.
Here.
Ms. McKeel.
Here.
Mr. Oberst.
Here.
Ms. Salinas Oliveros.
Here.
Ms. Kuntz.
I am present. And again, we don't have any citizen comments. We will look at the consent calendar. Our last meeting as a board was on March 1st, and those minutes are included. If anyone has any additions or corrections, otherwise I would entertain a motion. Yes, Counselor.
It appears as I read the minutes under the business agenda, item 1, it's almost like there's a paragraph missing. It starts out that there was a staff report given, and then it goes into the chairwoman's
Yep.
Inquiry about a featured tenant and, spot removal of, it doesn't give any context for that. Well, we no doubt remember that. For the historical context, I think we ought to have a introductory paragraph. It may just have gotten washed away somewhere, but it's not enough to vote against this. But hopefully that friendly correction can be made. I don't think it changes the substance of that, but it does provide context.
Phyllis, is that typical that you would include sort of a brief rehash of the staff report before recording our discussion?
Sometimes and sometimes not, but I can include it.
Yeah, I don't think she usually does because this becomes part of the packet.
The packet's a permanent record also.
But if you wanted to know that, you'd have to chase the staff report.
And that's standard for all of our meetings, I think, if you look back.
Yeah, okay, well, good to know.
It's you guys' decision.
Well, that can be discussed later.
Right.
We just ought to approve this now.
All right. So
Madam Mayor, I just had this thought, with given technology, once these minutes go onto the website, would it be possible to have staff report become a link to the staff report?
Yes.
To make life easier on those who want to go hunting.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that sort of approach
Yeah.
going forward, we've got the capacity now, so.
That would be a lot easier than.
You're
Yes.
gonna make the minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing what is already in the record, yeah.
So those are all housed under the meeting on the website, the minutes, the agenda, and the staff reports, the packets are all there.
Okay,
Right, it's just it would provide a link in the actual minutes themselves.
rather than back
Oh, you
out.
want a link? Okay, a
If,
link.
We'll discuss that.
Okay,
Well, if,
Yeah.
my understanding of technology, if and when we do revise our website, if those link location changes in any way, shape, or form, that link would then be dead in previous reports. So it may be creating more noise than it saves.
Yeah, you would have to go back to every single one of these and
Mhm.
attach a new link. That is perhaps a future note.
I'll leave that to
All right.
wiser minds than mine.
Uh,
Suggest.
did I take a motion then?
Nope.
Or did,
I would move adoption of these minutes.
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Oberst.
Second.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to give this one to Mr. Carey. And
Yeah.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Being none opposed, we shall move to the business portion of the Urban Renewal Agency meeting this evening. And that is a public hearing to consider the adoption of our fiscal 2022-23 budget. I will open the public hearing at this time. We have no one in the room to comment on the Urban Renewal Agency budget adoption. Phyllis, did anyone send in comments or ask to speak?
I have received no comments, Chairman Coons.
Look at you. Thank you very much. And I will close the public hearing and ask if anyone would like to entertain a motion to get us rolling on this one.
I'd move adoption of Resolution 41, adopting a fiscal year 22-23 budget, making appropriations and declaration of tax increment.
Second.
Second,
Third force. Thank you,
I know.
thank you,
Just to join the
Mr.
group.
Perry, for the motion, and I am giving the second to Mr. Lopez.
You should give it to.
Any
Good.
questions
Yeah.
or,
Good.
well, yeah, I should, to show Ms. McKeel was at this meeting as well. And she's making up for not having an unmute button early in the meeting. Any questions or comments regarding this resolution? The Urban Renewal Agency budget? Seeing none, I will ask Phyllis for the roll call of the board.
Chairman Coons, did you close the hearing?
Yeah, yes, I did. Sorry. It
Okay.
was moments after the opening.
Okay. Ms. Salinas Oliveros,
Aye.
Ms. Belts,
Aye.
Mr. Lopez,
Aye.
Mr. Carey,
Aye.
Ms. McKeel,
Yes.
Ms. Coons,
Aye.
Mr. Oberst.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting of the Urban Renewal Agency of the City of Monmouth.
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Salinas, Ms. Salinas Oliveros, Senora Salinas Oliveros, and all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And seeing none opposed, we are adjourned. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Who had 7:10?
I should have done the fiscal policy